Today we're judging every biome in Subnautica 2 and crowning the one creature that holds the spot as apex predator. The toxic sponge has a very interesting hunting strategy, one I believe to be very similar to the world trees. At one stage in its evolution, a foreign bacterium, likely the Plateaus, infected the sponge, causing internal reactions, increasing their potency of the sponge flush. This highly concentrated acid eliminates microorganisms and may also kill larger organisms, which then will decompose nearby, releasing nutrients upon which the sponge feeds. I don't have to spell this one out. The Greatjaw is easily the deadliest creature in the Tufa towers. This gargantuan leviathan, which by the way, is still only a juvenile and has no establishable upper size limit, has multiple ways of killing the player. When the tendons of the adductor muscles are disturbed, the jaw closes, trapping prey inside. Then maybe you are dissolved by an acidic neurotoxin, or crushed between the shell, or just didn't have enough time to resurface. The bloom parasites can be found clustering around angel cones and are massively infected with proteovirus. They have mutated into a mindless vessel, and their sole purpose is to spread the virus. They don't have eyes. They use scent and magnetic detection to find hosts, then attach themselves and infect the life form. Preferring larger life forms, like marrow breach and human, this is likely because they provide more nutrition to the surrounding angel cone roots upon death. The Anemone hills are mostly filled with passive life forms, but lurking in the sand are a close relative of the Axum, sand spears, a creature that made its debut in the main trailer of Subnautica 2. This ambush predator waits for prey to pass above, then deliver a bite with their glass-edged jaws at a speed up to 20 meters per second. It is said in a PDA entry that the older specimens will pull their bites, and perhaps the hard-biting sand spears break their jaws and die young. With its low-quality diet, large digestive tract, and powerful jaws, the nibbler mango requires substantial caloric intake, and therefore is driven by a near-constant feeding behavior. They are not dedicated carnivores, but omnivores. Scraping coral with their jaws, they can break down the minerals into nutrient-rich sediment, serving as an important reef recycler within the ecosystem. Mangoes are very territorial and aggressively attack interlopers. They show much more confidence when traveling in groups, holding a defensive format, circling, then attacking easy prey to help feed their large caloric requirements. Said to be at least as intelligent as Earth's gorillas, the coral crab is the deadliest of the northern Raceway fauna. On the cusp of being a Leviathan-class lifeform, the coral crab is huge, and also shares a shell with the coral domes of the shallows. This is due to a retroviral genetic exchange that took place sometime during the crab's evolution. It is an aggressive ambush predator, and when it is disturbed, rapidly emerges and attacks. Hammerheads are extremely territorial and display innate aggression to most lifeforms larger than a half-moon, including the nearby coral crabs, and obviously, human. Hammerheads can be found ramming coral domes, perhaps to strengthen their enamel head armor. When threatened, the hammerhead first displays its pectoral fins, but if that isn't enough to ward off intruders, they will close their head armor and charge. The apex predator of the coral gardens. Now I've combined these two biomes because the South Raceway contains almost zero life, but a marrow breach can be found on the border of these two biomes. But within the graveyard itself lies the alpha marrow breach. More aggressive, significantly larger, bites that deliver thousands of newtons of force, and now has an animation where it can grab the player in its jaws. It's also worthy to note that they hunt symbiotically with houndgars, small squid-like creatures that flush out prey for the marrow. The bigger the prey, the more scraps they get to feed on. Now we enter the Karakorum region. As of the making of this video, there are 3 named sub-biomes in this region, but because the first area is being reworked soon, I will be including it as its own biome. The Collector Leviathan is an intentionally placed roadblock for the player. After exploring the coral gardens, the player is forced east to continue the story. Now this narrow choke point is where the Collector waits. Armed with an enormous beak capable of tearing through plate titanium, and 4 dexterous tentacles tipped with bioglass, the collector meets a little trouble feeding on its diet of coral crabs and greatjaws, which means the player's tadpole, in lore, offers little to no protection. Needler mangoes are notoriously deadly. They are able to launch uranium-tipped tusks at 20 meters per second, and are very territorial over the deposits needed to fuel the growth of these tusks. They are well known for attacking tadpoles, even when unpiloted. There is a needler mango nest on the Observatory power plant border that shows evidence of this. During part of the game's story, the player is forced to enter this nest to obtain a Mark 1 depth module, and the needlers aren't overly keen on that. Always born in pairs, the twin Siderae grow until maturity and then split up to find a mate. Communicating through electricity and connected by strands of conductive mucus, they deliver shocks to the player and the tadpole, dealing heavy damage and sapping power. If the twin Siderae hasn't killed you the conventional way, you'll definitely drown after it steals all your power. A collector does call this biome home, but because I'm trying not to double up any creatures, I've gone with the tongue stealers because of their sinister feeding method. These crustacean-like parasites will attach to the tongue of a host and secrete a chemical that blocks the ability to feel full. This means the host, usually an Epicurean, enters a feeding frenzy and does not stop eating until the tongue stealer detaches or dies. An interesting theory mentioned in the PDA for the tongue thief says that organisms may have developed a taste for the tongue thief's numbing agent, much like how humans enjoy capsaicin or spice in their food. If this is true, you could argue that the addicted Epicurean is the deadliest creature in the Root Canyon, but as of right now, the tongue stealer remains the primary killer of the canyon. Let's just hope they don't grab onto the collector's tongue next.